Good evening, everyone, and here comes another week of, Fauna's tournament. Hope everyone's having a good evening tonight. One of these, it's finally September actually, now that I realize, a new month. And perhaps, since it's a new month, people are actually might be preoccupied. So actually for tonight's tournament, we do have just quite a small bracket. I mean, we often have small brackets in Asia, but I'd say this one is, really small. We only have 4 participants for tonight's tournament. And, considering that 4 participants in a double elimination tournament, that's literally top 4 already. So, rather than pushing through with the top 4, or rather a double elimination format, we are changing the format for tonight's tournament into a round robin. And for tonight, you're having a first to 3 for these 4 players. And, since there's only 4 of them, we're only having 6 matches tonight. So, I think it's a good size, pretty sizable. So, we're going to just be seeing or watching everyone's games tonight. Alright. And I hope we see a pretty good one, since everyone's going to have a first to 3. So, you're going to be seeing people making more adjustments than usual. In any case, I think we could get right into the tournament. Though I do want to say for everyone watching right now, make sure to stay tuned after the tournament is over, because we do have a small announcement to make after this tournament. So, stay tuned for that. But anyway, let's get right into that. Oh, I used the wrong transition, but who cares? Who cares about Grandiose? Anyway, it is time for us to get started. First up, we have Kittens and Arnab. Actually, why do I have the game muted? Do I have the game muted? Yes, it is muted. Okay, that ain't dandy. There we go. We're hearing the game now. But anyway, yeah, these 2 players. Cadence has been a pretty long time member of the Fauna community. I presume actually one of the first members of it. Them having assisted in organizing some tournaments way back in the past, and it's a pretty solid Paprika player. They are from Singapore, by the way. On the other hand, we have Arnab, one of our fresh players, pretty new to the Fauna community. We're very happy to have players like Arnab joining us, and maybe you could be one of these players joining us. But Arnab is an Arizona player from Malaysia, and he has been really working on improving steadily. At a surprising pick for Cadence, actually using Oleander for this match. Perhaps, maybe wanted to see what Arnab is capable of, and maybe, recognizing that Arnab is a new player, and this is one of the good ways to test the waters as well, playing a different character than you'd normally use. And looks like Cadence has a pretty good command of Oleander, having a good pressure with those JBs and JCs, but Arnab responds with a pretty good anti-air right there. And actually able to do a combo right there. Unfortunately, not a setup to give Arnab some magic. So, generally, as Arizona, like, one of the essentials you'll be working on, like, as you steadily learn how to play this character, one of the precepts that you'll be getting as playing Arizona is to have a combo route wherein you can convert, or rather a good conversion or combo route wherein you're able to get 3 stocks of magic immediately, because with the 3 stocks of magic, Arizona just poses more threats, so its 2 6Bs are actually working out quite well. Very intriguing. And Keaton's actually pretty low because of all those 6B counter hits. Oh no, the air attack actually putting Arnab in a confusing spot. Cadence using that double jump to cross up. Arnab going for another 6B, hoping it would work this time, but not right now. And Cadence will have to go for the finish here. Otherwise, the drop, and Arnab. Oh no, Cadence is just in way chip damage, and Cadence actually tried to chip themselves there, but just quite not enough. And Arnab responds with his own super to go for the chip there. Both players trying to go for this chip damages. But yes, basically, as Arizona, you do want to have that routing where you're able to get 3 stocks of magic immediately, because the variety of options you just have just raises up as soon as you get those 3 stocks of magic. You will have, good reversal options, good way to challenge your opponent's offense. And also, it's a conversion routing as well for Arizona. That magic headbutt is a pretty good wall stick, and could also be part of it, increased damage. Magic Stomp, while rarely used, can also be a threat that you'd be posing with 3 stocks of magic. Just generally the variety of options you get with Arizona. But pretty much the same as for Oleander, and the way Oleander would have to work is by using spacing. And actually, I'm finding it quite interesting that Cadence, even after throwing out those fireballs, is not really going for any reads, and just going ham, being the aggressor in this situation. Now, generally, this is ill-advised if you'll be playing against Arizona, but it seems like Cadence is using this as a means to challenge Arnab, and look at that, actually able to get 2 stocks of magic and teleporting right in. This is also the same, as you can see, it's a similar idea as what Arizona and Oleander has with each other, getting those reads. That was a weird side switch indeed, and you know, just after the whiff super, Kittens goes for a super. Everyone loves to finish supers in these matches. Alright, placing it out, and Cadence just standing there. Okay, and finally decides to read just as soon as Arnab actually tries to approach, which was quite dangerous had Arnab pressed a JB in that situation. So usually when you see Oleander trying to read there, you want to reach him with your air button. That actually is a pretty good air-to-air, like one that would reach your opponent. And in this case, Arizona's JB is actually a good way to try to poke out Oleander trying to read in the air. That is if you're also in the air, but you know, generally you could just use 4D. You try to dash up 6A. With how good Arizona 6A is, it comes out pretty quick. Oh, the super! You can see there, Cadence actually whiffed the grab there. Not certain what the air grab attempt was for, but certainly an idea right there. And Arnab catching Cadence with the 6B, unable to convert off of it, unfortunately. Oh, tries to go for the rope, but just as soon as Cadence tried to teleport, and unfortunately, that is going to be a game for Cadence. Alright, now, we're all very much aware that Keaton's main character is Paprika, but having won this first game, he will... Oh dear. We have... we have a tournament. Okay, it seems like a little guess here is slightly unaware. But, none to worry. Nothing to worry about. Okay. Spectate that. Okay, but given that Cadence is the one who has won the first game, Cadence is actually still locked into playing Oleander. Arnab could have, you know, other options if he so wishes to switch characters, but you know, presumably we'll still be sticking with Arizona, as we can see right here.
Round 1. Fight.
Alright, and now finally Cadence actually going for that situation where it recognizes that he needs to go for the spacing, try to get some read, get some magic stocks. Oh, J2C. Actually very brave of Arnab to try to challenge with the 6A there. Had Cadence double jump into JC, that would have actually gotten Arnab potentially hit, with especially with the height that Cadence had gone for there. But everything else looks pretty fine. Oh, and just Cadence capitalizes on that spacing where Arnab's not really trying to contest space pretty well. So generally you still want to, even though you have rope, you have your lasso, you do want to challenge Oleander's still here, but you know, trying to claim the space, try to get closer, and put yourself in a range where actually your rope and your stomps will be a direct threat. That actually just allowed Cadence to get stocks of magic, but it looks like Arnab somehow managed to get a pretty good situation there. Like, oh god, just 6B, but just Arnab needs to really work on capitalizing on those 6Bs, because Arnab has actually hit those 6Bs quite a lot in the set, and not the same situation. Again, that is quite unfortunate.
Logical outcome, really.
But as I was saying, Arnab would really want to try to capitalize on the 6Bs, because he's hitting the 6Bs, which, honestly speaking, should not really be used too much, as it is quite punishable on block. But since it's catching Cadence quite often, if Arnab's able to capitalize on the 6Bs and try to go for a conversion, he may be able to dish out more damage and put Cadence in a tighter spot. That is a perfect punish on that 6C. But unfortunately, nothing much out of it. So yeah, one issue with Arizona's level 1 super is her level 1 in itself, like, sure, it has armor. You can do it as a reversal, since you know you have armor and your opponent would really have a hard time challenging it. It's also a fast super on startup, but after that you don't really have a good Oki situation unless you convert into level 2. So generally you do not really want to throw out level 1 as an ender, or like just as is. Alright, and now finally Kids trying to play for space, and wow, what a good recognition there by Arnab. But yet again, it's just the same situation. He could have actually cancelled to level 2 there. Probably could have gotten a kill, but perhaps missed the input. That does happen. Most especially if you're... I think compared to other characters, Arizona's super... level 2 super input actually has a tighter window compared to most characters, since literally it's only a single hit. Like unlike other characters super hit, it's pretty multi-hit, so you have more time to confirm off of it. You can you can input your level 2 elsewhere there. But with Arizona, you have to do the input as soon as that one hit connects, and you know Arizona supers, level 1 super is only a single hit. Now that's what I think would happen right there. Cadence actually mentions that Oleander's combo damage is pretty bad, which is actually quite true. Oleander by herself doesn't really have that much power as a threat, and that's why generally the win condition for Oleander is to bring out Fred, thus saving that level 2, trying to not really expend meter for just simple level 1s unless, you know, quite really deemed necessary. But this is why a lot of Oleander players actually, you know, would be considered quite greedy, as even though there are certain situations where they could have gone for a kill with a level 1, they don't really do it because of them wanting to save that meter for the next round and potentially get a level 2 out, having themselves a much more secure win for, you know, the entire game. And actually I'm not sure why Arnab is allowing Cadence to just read a lot here, and actually Cadence could just decide not to teleport in. Oh, there you go, the magic headbutt trying to challenge Cadence. Oh, but throw on wake up. Arnab missing his meaty, getting thrown back. Oh, Cadence trying to go for a reset right there. They can't pan out 2A into 2C, whipping that 2A, potentially baiting Arnab to try to press a button. Oh, and unfortunately Arnab doesn't seem to be quite sure on how to approach the situation with the epilogue right there. Dropping right that level 1, unfortunately just whiffs, and Cadence actually decides not to use a level 1 as they have in the previous games as a means to punish Arnab. Potentially probably thinking of using Fred for this final round, and actually Cadence is at match point here. So that potentially could be the case. Cadence trying to save that meter for the level 2. But now, since again, Cadence is recognizing that Arnab's not really challenging the spacing that well, so Cadence just going for those reads whenever they can. And now, as soon as Arnab tries to go in, you know, Cadence has a lot of time to respond to that, and actually catching Arnab quite off guard there. Trying to go for the counter, which is not a bad idea. However, with Fred out, it's actually pretty hard to challenge. And now you see, like, even though Arnab got those pretty good hits, after that level 1, he doesn't really have a good Oki situation. And thus, you really want to avoid just throwing out level 1 as their combo finisher. But it's quite understandable. You do want to get as much damage as possible. Oh, the JB trick sees, but fortunately, it is not quite enough that Arnab was able to respond to that particular interaction correctly. And with that, Cadence takes this match. And Cadence now has 1 win on the board for their record in this round robin. Okay. Those are some good games. Now let's have our next pair. Let's have Kama Rider versus Hitsuji. Kama on player 1. Let's have Hitsuji on player 2. I mean, so long as if they're having fun, I suppose. Tricky Trixie. That was certainly what was going on right there. Okay, so let me ping Hitsuji since... Oh wait, never mind. There he goes. Okay, probably on his way. Yeah, okay, a bit of connection. We'll wait it out a bit. So yeah, it'll take some time. Yeah, the problem is we want to avoid too much repeats as possible, and if I try to reshuffle the order of the games right now, it's actually going to have a lot of consecutive Hitsujis if I do that right now. So actually, I think it would be best for us to wait Suji a bit here. I'm pretty sure he's catching up quite quickly. And I presume, yes, thank you very much, CADP Gamer, for helping me out on the bracket. It does help relieve the pressure quite, as a lot of things are at the same time is pretty tricky. But anyway, here we are, Kamen Rider versus Hitsuji. Now, both of these players are from the Philippines, and these are also pretty already long-established members of the Fauna community. Kamen Rider actually has been developing his Velvet quite a lot as of late, and I've been seeing that his approach, his routing has become more polished. Like, his strength overall has always been his zoning skills, but lately he's also been able to make some combos, which was considered to be which he himself also considered to be his weakness, and now he's actually developing to do that, and we're actually able to see Kamen Rider evolving into a much stronger player. However, Hitsuji will be his opponent here, arguably the strongest Paprika player in Asia, but Hitsuji actually decides to play Arizona for this one, and that's an interesting approach by Kamen right there, going for a 5B, a 2B into a Shatter B. But it looks like Kama is just zoning the hell out of Hitsuji right here. Hitsuji unable to get in at all. Already just one hit away from death. But it looks like Hitsuji finally made his entrance. And would he be able to make a comeback out of that? No, he tries to go for the reset with his 6B. And unfortunately, Kama was very prepared for that. Goes for a 6A. Prevents that 6B from doing anything. Wow, that Shatter B. What a call out by Kama. The thing is, honestly speaking, I think Velvet players in general should realize that Shatter B round start, I think, should be avoided. As, sure, it is a call-out move. However, the thing with Shatter B is that you cannot really convert off of it unless you have meter. Like, you can do a level 1 super to level 2, and the potential you could have a much longer combo from that. But in itself, it just becomes a hard knockdown, sends your opponent away. But I think it doesn't quite matter here, because just what happens here is just Kama preventing Suji from touching him at all. So, in a sense, Kama's game plan is just to send Hitsuji away, which is, you know, generally the game plan of Velvet after all. But Kama doesn't really... Kama's approach isn't really about like trying to limit your space and trying to push you into an area where you are contained. But rather, Kama's game plan is mostly just to keep you away. And the moment you try to get in on him, that's when he tries to challenge the spacing that you're trying to do and actually disables you from entering or trying to go for an entry on him quite easily. So like usually he tries going back and forth, back dashing and then forward dashing. Oh, in this case, he tries to go for an aggressive approach. That's a pretty refreshing idea this time. I'm quite intrigued that Hitsuji still decides to stick on his Arizona for this one. Perhaps he wants to prove that he can do something with his cow right here. Oh, and there you go, Hitsuji finally making use of the stomps. at finding that range where he wants. Misses the opportunity to punish that 5C, but catches the next one. No conversion, however, the range is quite difficult to make a conversion off of it. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike, but that was a pretty good confirm by Hitsuji with a JA. Keep in mind that is actually just a 1 frame jumping normal. But unfortunately for Hitsuji, Kama finally being able to develop his combo routing just dishes the right amount of damage to finish Hitsuji for that round. Oh, there you go. Just look at this. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, Kama just really likes backing up and just moving in occasionally, but not really just containing you in that particular area, but he just moves along. And now right here, actually, this is something I knew that I'm seeing with Kama. That I don't think I've seen him do this kind of approach before, moving together with his icicles to really do some oppression here. And just Hitsuji completely unable to find a way to enter there. Kama showing how dominating his zoning capabilities are. And I think Hitsuji might want to consider going for the switch here. Okay, he's saying hold on. Now keep in mind, this is a first of 3, as you can see right there, quite underneath, written FT3. Kama already getting 2 games off of Hitsuji. But to be quite fair, Hitsuji hasn't been using his main in those matches. However, Kama's really showing how strong his zoning is. Like, how he tries to move with the icicle, how he tries to prevent Hitsuji's jump-ins with just some anti-airs, or just a proper backdash and the spacing. And then actually just immediately going for 5B or 5C. I like that now he's not just always going for 5Cs anymore. Like, that was one thing that I observed Kama used to do a lot. Like, whenever he has this space, it's very tempting. It's quite honestly very tempting to just go for a lot of 5Cs with Velvet because, you know, it's a strong move. It moves her forward. It has good range. But with how long the recovery is, and if you whiff it, it's quite easy to punish. So going for these other buttons actually is making Kama, or putting Kama in a much better situation. And of course, other buttons are much faster. 5C, as it's not really slow per se, but of course, if you compare it to a button like 5B, it is, you know, still quite faster. So switching these buttons is actually putting Kama in a much, much better spot. Now I'm expecting Hitsuji going for the switch here. Probably going for his Paprika this time. Time to go for no holds barred. Does Kama have stream open by any chance? On his phone. Okay, they're just confirming some things. Potentially, maybe some concerns with the connection. Yeah, it is okay. It's stabilizing. It's stabilizing. It's fine. Because you know it is quite concerning to see 200 ping local. Like the 3 of us are from the Philippines, so you know. But no worries, no problemo. 150 ping, well, good. Although it looks like Suji's quite insistent in playing Arizona for this one. Looks like he's using this as an opportunity to work out his Arizona, potentially a pocket person. Oh, trying to go for the JB there, but Kama was just the right crouch level, not actually making that JB whiff even though he was crouching. And that is not the kind of situation that anyone wants to see in this match. Okay, and there you go. They're just trying to stabilize connection. Noticing the spike. Okay, there you go. Hitsuji closing in. Oh, unfortunately drops a combo with that backdash into 5B. And here we are yet again. Kama trying to stone Suji out. And even after that whiff eruption with Hitsuji in his face, still able to get a hit on Hitsuji. Oh, and there you go. Hitsuji utilizing that magic sock that he had. But unfortunately with that magic headbutt, actually sends Kama right away. And not really putting himself in a spot where he can
challenge Kama a bit more. And now Kama's at match point. Oh, just Shatter Beast round start yet again. Hitsuji now actually using the spacing to his favor, using the stomps. There we go. The last one goes for the hard knockdown. And looks like the connection is also on a knockdown right now. And hopefully we're gonna see it wake up just like that. And unfortunately, actually, that not certain if it was the connection that gave that opportunity for Kama to close in. But unfortunately, that wasn't a hard knockdown. Allowed Kama to tech roll forward. And Hitsuji expecting a back tech roll, or at least a neutral tech from Kama, actually gets surprised there. The challenge is 5C. Unfortunately, just Hitsuji's unable to punish these with 5Cs. Couldn't get much more of this. Kama trying to cancel it to level 2, hoping that he would be able to catch Hitsuji off guard from that. And unfortunately, that magic eruption actually keeping Hitsuji away. Now, Hitsuji has to be very careful here. And that was a perfect punish on that 5C. Just a perfectly timed super. But this does put Hitsuji in a pretty tight spot as well. No meter for him. Whereas Kama quite comfortable to just use level 1 in this kind of situation. It still sends Arizona away. Puts Velvet in a spot where she wants to be. Of course, quite preferably, if Kama gets level 2 here, he would want that. Now, Hitsuji trying to challenge with a stomp while Kama's in the air. I actually think that's quite questionable. Unfortunately, these Shatter Seas, and Kama's just getting much mileage out of them. And yet again, another drop, and Tsuji's just gonna go for the punish right here. Hard knockdown. Oh, but that 5B whiffs. You might have been too accustomed to Paprika's 5B range. Oh, that Shatter A. Kama's able to mix up Hitsuji right here. Oh, the magic DP. No conversion off of it. Kama just decides to backdash away. Which is actually pretty wise because even as a -2, backdashing away if that eruption actually gets blocked. Like, backdashing actually allows like 2A or 5As to whiff. Kama closes it up. 3-0 against Hitsuji. Maybe Hitsuji would have wanted to get Paprika out there. But maybe he has a different objective here. He has a game plan. He has something that he wants to do right. Kama winning that game. Or rather, with that said, we're going straight right to Kama versus Cadence. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I didn't need to, reassign or call you on. I like the initiative. And here we are, the third match, or third set for today, or tonight. Just like to let everyone know we have 6 sets to see tonight, since this is a round robin of 4 players. That is an equivalent of 6 matches total. Here we are in the third one, Cadence versus Kama. And these two players have, all of these players have fought each other quite a number of times already, but I want to see how Cadence actually responds to Kama's approach here. It seems like Cadence is very, very accustomed to this matchup already, having fought a bunch of Velvet players already. The Velvets, their life, they're finding the perfect opportunity to close in with the Telesi. That is a soft knockdown. Quite unfortunate that JV setup is not going to work if your opponent doesn't go for an immediate tech. Which I like that Kama's not going for immediate techs anymore. Often he would do that back then. Seeing really the improvements in Kama. Oh wow! The perfectly spaced 2C by Cadence there. Even though Kama goes for the magic DP. Just that the invul frames is not during the entire duration of the DP. So the active frames still go continuously even if Velvet gets hit. And it's only during the first active frames that Velvet is invul. So Cadence was in the right distance to, in a sense, meaty Kama off of that DP. So it was a perfect way to punish that. Oh, but it looks like Even though Kama's now deciding not to go for Hex as much as he used to, he's still going for a lot of these tech roll forwards, and Cadence is just punishing this. This, I think, the second time Cadence has caught Kama in a tech roll, and that hard knockdown, there you go, the JB actually working very well, though it did help that Kama went for a Shatter A on Wake Up, something that you wouldn't really want to throw out often on Wake Up as Velvet, but perhaps try to catch maybe an up back, a backdash. Those are some. That is actually a pretty good way to try to catch those options if your opponent is trying to play too passively, even on Oki, which there are some players who play like that, or like at some situations, and which is quite understandable since if you've already exhibited Magic DP, it's actually a good way to try to catch players who decide to play passively.
Let us break the ice.
Our game's number 2. Oh my
Ready?
knee.
Fight.
Right, the grab after the teleport, but no conversion off of it. Now, Kama gets a space that he wants, but not for long. Keaton just jumps in right with the tele B and mixes up Kama. Quite unsure which side to really block after that. Jump over after the teleport. Pretty much the approach at Cadence I'd pretty much describe like a jumping bunny. Like, goes behind you. It's like Bugs Bunny just going right behind you, tricking you, just hopping over you, hitting you while hopping over you. Oh, the Shatter B round start yet again. Kama is quite notorious for going for those Shatter B round starts. Oh, the flop by Kittens, recognizing that Kama went for a jump there, and actually quite ambiguous. I wasn't sure which side that was, so even with after just a neutral jump, I'm not certain which side that would have been. Pick up Quiet off that blue B combo, still sending Cadence away. I like that Kama throwing out those 2D, trying to cover for Tele C. And now Cadence having a hard time, but quite unfortunate that I think Kama did try to go for a 2D there, or maybe that was a 5D, but nevertheless, whichever Snowflake it was quite too late. Gets caught with a Tele C, and now Cadence has their momentum right back. Goes for the super, just goes for the level 2. Will he try to make it explode immediately? Oh, I think they try to go for a flop right there. Oh no! Gets caught off guard by the level 2 cancel. Perhaps tried to push block there with the BC, and unfortunately that actually disabled Cadence off of blocking because of the immediate cancel to level 2. Oh, there we go. Kama has Cadence right where he wants them. Oh, but not for long. Cadence going for the reset after those. That JB actually connecting, but well, actually traded. That was a flop. Oh, tries to go for the JB yet again. That is pretty much Cadence default Oki option. Like after hard knockdown, even after soft knockdowns actually. Oh, but now Kama is quite the player who challenges a lot of these, so these 5Bs are going to stop that. But Kama is in chip range, so if he's not quite careful here, if he's not aware, throwing a lot of those magic might not be good for him, but now he actually tried to throw that magic, preventing Cadence from going for a Tele C. Cadence actually being precarious here, being very careful. Keeping a good eye on Kama's magic. Unfortunately, unable to convert. Oh no! Could have been blocked, unfortunately.
That was close.
Kama could have converted off. Unfortunate drop by Kama there, and after that flop, since Kama went for an eruption. So after that eruption, actually puts him in a recovery state, and yeah, sadly would have not been able to block that flop regardless. Alright, but Kama was definitely dishing out some damage here, finally trying and able to send, or rather keep Cadence away for quite some time. Maybe would want a different approach. different from, you know, Shatter B round start. It is quite a very aggressive. I mean, it is, I'd say, actually a semi-aggressive approach because it's very committal. It twists if your opponent doesn't do anything. And you would be punished for doing it. There you go, yet again, Cadence catching these tech rolls. Kama will want to reconsider when to do these tech rolls. Might want to reconsider whether to tech at all or not, even. Oh, but this time that tech roll forward actually catches Kittens off guard. Oh, the Shatter A, that is quite the damage yet again. However, it's the same situation that we saw from the previous game. Kama, yet again, going for that air icicle, then trying to go for a snowflake. Unsure if it's a 5D or 2D, but it's just always too late, and Cadence is able to close in with the Tele-C. So maybe Kama would want to change the layering here. Maybe want to go for the snowflake first before going for the jump and throw an icicle. Or maybe be a bit more... how do you call this? Be a bit more conservative with using the icicles, because like you might it generally really has that feeling that you're safe to put out icicles at a distance because, you know, your Velvet, your opponent's far away from you, but Paprika has these options to close in. Like, even if it's not at the committal Tele-C, which is a very hard call out, Paprika can go for a Tele-B and would be right behind you, and if you try to throw out an air icicle at that moment, you can get immediately anti-aired. There you go. Unfortunately, even after that freeze, not really able to keep Cadence away completely for the duration of that match. And Cadence takes this game. A lot of 0-3s we're seeing. And perhaps maybe this next one will be quite different. Let me just change scene here for a bit. So yes, next, Arnab versus Hitsuji. Arnab, player 1. Okay, now Hitsuji previously played Arizona against Kama, and I'm wondering, would Hitsuji be using Arizona against Arnab? And if so, we're going to be seeing a mirror match. That one's for certain. And if it is a mirror match, here we go. Yes, indeed, a mirror match. We'll see which of these two will be taking notes from who. Oh, Arnab would have torn off JC approach, but no conversion off of it, and a little bit of a stare down. Quite unsure what to do there, but this time Suji going for these routings. And there you go. Actually, what I've been saying earlier, like snagging those amount of magic, like having this variety of options. I'll try to go for the magic stomp, but actually Arnab was able to block it. Just quite unfortunate going for a 2B, which is actually, I forget the frame data on Arizona's 2B. I'm not sure if it could actually punish the magic headbutt, but generally most of the time you just want to mash 5A against that once you block it. Well, going for the super here, and quite unsure. Actually putting Arnab put himself there in the corner, so might want to reconsider where to use these supers. Generally actually putting yourself in a tight spot. There is one situation like in the corner where you could try to use level 1 as Arizona. Like if you push your opponent to the corner and then you level 1 super them, you kick them off of the corner, which is generally ill-advised. But you can use that as a knowledge check situation since it's still a hard knockdown. You just try to dash in a little bit or move. Actually, yeah, I think you dash in a little bit, or maybe you can actually just stay in place. Usually that fixed range, you would be able to 2D your opponent if they do not backdash or jump off of their place. And actually you'd be putting them back into the corner. So that is actually a knowledge check scenario. But we're not going to be seeing any of that as Hitsuji just decides to close off that game.
Player 2 wins.
Oh, what is this? Anything but a Tito. No. Alright, Arnav seems quite uncomfortable with the mirror match. I'm actually quite surprised, you know, a lot of players actually do not feel comfortable with mirrors for some reason. Well, again, I guess to be fair, like, I do not like Tian mirror, but the thing is that is quite specific. I actually, like, enjoy Shanty mirrors, on the other hand, but Tian mirrors are just for me. And it seems like in this case, Arnav's the one finding this pretty move. Actually, I like that Arnav's finally trying to show the stomps a bit more and spacing it out, trying to really put himself in the range where these ropes and stomps are supposed to hit. But also quite dangerous because, you know, at the same time, this is a mirror. Both of these characters have each other's range, pretty much. And going for a stomp C right that is actually quite dangerous. Look, like, even after whipping those ropes will be dangerous because, like, I know Hitsuji just dashed in there, but actually just generally in a prime position to go for the punish because both of these characters, again, have each other's range. It's a mirror. Oh, tries to go for the 6B, but no naughty 6B is allowed here. Hitsuji denying that with a stand block, as everyone should be doing against the elbow. Oh, just a headbutt. I think I was headbutt C. Me around starting. So I guess it's pretty good at catching people off guard. What a JB meaty right there. Actually quite hard to land. Oh, wow. Arnav finds the gap of that. Oh, but unfortunately, that is not what you want to be doing against a magic dash. Do not want to throw 5D, most especially since your opponent will be in front of you after they magic dash. Oh, there. Going to whiff. Oh, but this time, Arnav's the one blocking. Goes for the 2B punish. Keep in mind that generally with most characters, supers, if you're able to block them, you're generally able to do a 5C punish against them. And I think even in Arizona's case, because you know she's on the ground and even though the recovery just keeps going on even after that first block, you actually have time to go for a jump C. Or I guess in Arizona's case, you can go for a short hop JC. Try to maximize that damage even further. Yes, I think one of the things you also like to learn is finding the optimal starter as punishes for things that you're blocking. And in this case with Super, since there's so much time for you to punish it, I think it's worth working on your routing and working, you know, just working on the timing and of the punish as well. Again, with Arizona's Super, if you block that one, generally you have time to JC. Though with some characters, you might just prefer to go for 5C or a launcher, 2C. Depends. In Tiano's case, for example, it would be a JC.
Round one. Fight.
I'm actually uncertain. Maybe Velvet's JC is a bit too slow or maybe hard to really hit it. So you might want to just go with a 5C for certain characters. There you go. Suji with a staggered approach. And there you go. His 6B is the one working out. Oh, but not if you keep going for low. Arnav's gonna bring back his own version of his elbow. But unfortunately, not going to be converting pretty well off of that combo with the launcher whipping against crouchers. Oh, there. The punish against that lasso attempt. And even though Hitsuji was the one who whipped this time, Arnav was just not in the position to punish it. Like, jumping in that situation probably wasn't the best idea. Or rather, jumping forward and trying to press a button, as Suji had enough time to recover and go for a punish from that one. Well, interesting approach here by Suji, going for a 2A backdash into 5C. Probably trying to catch Arnav, potentially mashing each other. Almost catching each other at the same time, but Arnav was the one who pressed the button first. And you really have to keep an eye on that. Like, if you put your opponent at a soft knockdown situation, with Arizona, you just generally do not want to just throw out your rope as an Oki because of the possibility of tech roll or delayed techs. It's extremely hard to time due to the startup. So
It's over now.
generally, you'd like to avoid just using the rope as Oki, especially in, top knockdown situations. And, your opponent can just tech roll forward and just hit you with how long the recovery of the rope is. And Hitsuji capitalized on that. And that's how he convincingly took those games. Hitsuji taking that match. Don't give ideas on how to punish Rot. Tian Super. Hey, look, you gotta learn how to punish it, but they don't know when it's coming. That's the issue. Alright, so, next up, we have Arnab again versus Kama Rider. Oh, hi. So, Arnab versus Kama Rider. Arnab, player 1. And, some flogging, because why not? Okay, let me just bring up this. I forgot to edit the scoreboard. Don't worry, it'll be coming up pretty soon. Kama Rider. As I only need to change one name. Alright.
Coming at you. But never seen
But no
perfection
worries here.
before.
Arnab has a lot
Ready?
of things to
Fight.
work on, but we're definitely seeing that Arnab's learning. Arnab's picking up a lot of these things, but let's see if he'll be able to try to implement all of these things that he's learning bits by bit. But unfortunately, already in a tight situation here, Arnab will have to try to figure out how to close in against this. And I think Arnab will be learning how to dash block in this case. Like generally, for the players here who are having trouble closing in on Velvet, just throwing out projectiles, eruptions like this, very essential for you to learn how to dash block. And to do that, it's pretty much,
Perfect.
just 6-6, which is your 4 dash. And then you immediately go to 1, which is your crouch block. And basically in this game, like, you can cancel the animation of your dash in forward by just crouching. So what happens is, you cancel your dash in forward by crouching, and then you immediately put yourself in a crouch block. So by that, you'll be able to close in little by little. Now, that in itself, just knowing how to crouch block, probably isn't enough. You have to really keep an eye on what the Velvet or, the zoner is throwing out on you. And I'm pretty sure you can apply this concept even in other fighting games, even against other zoners.
Velvet wins.
It's quite tough. Now, very tempting to jump, to try to, hop over the projectiles. And definitely you have to be showing that occasionally time to time, because, otherwise it's very projected that you're just on the ground, and the Velvet will just capitalize on that. But if you try to jump too much against over these projectiles, tendency is a lot of air buttons are not as fast as, the buttons on the ground, and you'd most likely be putting yourself in a situation where either Velvet can anti-air you or hit you with a button, with any other kind of button on the ground, and then it'll be the Velvet's turn. You'll be put in a mix. You have to guess if it's going to be a high or low, or maybe the Velvet will just disengage because you're worried about maybe Shatter A, Shatter C coming out, but the Velvet just decides to put out an icicle and backdash, or maybe even go for a thick throw. So, as tempting as it is, like, to keep jumping onto the Velvet, closing that space, you have to keep in mind as well as, like, when you're closing the space, are you the one having the initiative, or did you just put yourself in the block string for free? Oh, it looks like, there you go, Kama's pressure, actually quite interesting there, going for the eruptions, trying to mix it up, resetting the pressure. And yeah, see, that's the deal here. Like, if you're having issues with that, like, once the opposing Velvet touches you and you're quite unsure of what they do as their mix-ups, on how they go for their pressure strings, Velvet could potentially just keep resetting the pressure on you. Most especially with Eruption, because Eruption is +2. Arnab just quite unable to respond to any of these. Most especially those Shatter Seas. Kama's getting much mileage out of this, and he's actually playing very aggressively here. This is a good enclosed space. That was a very good enclosed space, and actually it still is, as Kama is actually go for the kill here. Could have cancelled it into super. Quite unfortunate that Kama just missed that. Shatter B can be cancelled into super and would have killed in that situation, but it's all good. Kama still manages to close around with a huge life lead. In any case, a chip out was a situation that Arnab would have had to face there in any way. And definitely we're seeing Arnab struggling to deal with this. At the same time, to be fair, Kama, as we've mentioned earlier, has very, very strong pressure with his zoning. That's primarily his biggest strength in his kit. Like, this is what Kama is known for in the Fauna. But this is, I think, would also be a very good experience for Arnab if he manages to learn how to close in with this kind of zoning pressure. He will be able to adapt to more things. Bread.
Like my pa always says, put him up. Let us break the ice.
Heck yeah.
Ready? Fight.
Alright, and let's see. Maybe. Oh, there you go. Now, you see that the thing with Velvet's 5C like that, at a certain range, it will whip on crouchers, and that is actually your opportunity to go for punish. That 5C is very punishable. I believe Arizona's 2B is in range to punish that, at least in most cases. So it's something you want to keep an eye for. Like with that, if you do put yourself in a situation where Velvet is trying to pressure you back, try to keep an eye out for things like that. Maybe 5C's whipping. Are they going to go for an eruption? Because in most strings where Velvet tries to go for an eruption, it is not a real string. Because that eruption is actually her pressure reset tool. Oh, there you go. Finally catches that Shatter B, but quite unable to get the spacing. Keep it in mind, yet again, Arnab's getting punished for these ropes that he's throwing out, because he fails to consider that Kama isn't in a hard knockdown situation and can just tech roll forward. So that 5D is just going to be whipping, and putting himself in a recovery state, he's just going to be getting punished. Oh, trying to go for the 2C reset. Actually, not a bad idea. Going for resets like that, going for hard knockdowns several times is a pretty neat idea, but unfortunately, that wasn't quite enough as a neat idea for Arnab. Oh boy. Are we just always gonna be saying no freeze? Alright. Now, definitely a valiant effort by Arnab there. He was definitely trying to show more patience, being a bit more... trying to keep an eye pull on what Kama is doing. But this does require a bit more experience. Like, trying to catch those 5C whiffs, trying to know how to really close in that gap that you have with Velvet and yourself with dash blocking. Alright, and in any case, we are now here for the final match for tonight. Let me just update the scoreboard yet again. Final match for tonight, Cadence versus Hitsuji right here. And let's actually see, is Hitsuji going to be sticking to being a cow? Or is it time to demonstrate why he is, allegedly, the best Paprika player of Asia? We're going to find out if he's going to display that tonight or not. Maybe he's working out on a pocket. Is Arizona, maybe, you know, just having a good time. After all, this is just a casual tournament. Oh, looks like the two players decided to show, you know what, both of us Paprika mains, we're not playing Paprika, we're playing different characters. And here we go, Cadence going for the Oleander yet again. Cadence actually showed it, their Oleander quite early on against Kama. No, not Kama, against Arnab rather. But against Kama, Cadence decided to go for their Paprika there. And Hitsuji with a different color palette right now. Looks like Cadence is having a good time with this pressure. Oh, tries to extend that combo even further, but generally you do actually want to take that ground bounce. Like, especially Kittens didn't have magic right there. In most cases, you would want to try to build your magic and try to use that as part of your pressure tool. Even use that as an Oki tool, actually. Like, you can throw out a trap, like read and then throw out a trap. Try to limit the space of your opponent. Because Jerry Oleander by herself doesn't really pose too much threat. Like, yes, she has good normals, they're disjointed. Her buttons reach quite far, but the damage overall is not really that good. Plus, the block string that Oleander has, mostly either unreal or kind of straightforward. Unless she has magic, where she's actually able to mix it up a bit better. That's why you generally want to go for those reads, but you have to be careful as well. Like, as you see there, Keaton's going for a jump forward and then reading, while Hitsuji already on wake up. It's actually quite dangerous, so you have to be quite careful when you go for these reads. And especially against a rushdown, unless you're already able to keep them away with proper placements of fireballs or traps, you do not want to be reading raw because they're going to close in on you quite quick. Keaton's already at the terrible life situation. Oh, tries to go for the counter, but Cadence actually misses the J2C, so nothing was triggered there. Cadence trying to bring it back. The ground bounce, and actually there you go. Tries to go for the read, tries to go for the tech roll read as well, but misses that opportunity. Oh, and here we go. Are we going to be seeing Fred? Fred is out, and oh, tries to close in, tries to be aggressive. This is what Cadence is thinking of here. Oh, wow. Now, one of the things that can be quite tricky, like, Oleander can do that launcher. Of course, launcher in itself is dangerous on your block string. If you do launcher on a block string or just raw, if it gets blocked, you're ultimately gonna get punished. But with Fred out, actually can make it quite safe. Actually can make it as a trap as well. However, Tsuji just goes for the super. And that has armor. The startup is very fast. Kittens was definitely gonna get hit there. That was a perfect punish by Hitsuji. And I put the score on the wrong player. Excuse me. Don't worry about that. If Hitsuji wins, Hitsuji and Cadence will all be tied. No way. Hold on. I'm pretty sure there's another layer that decides who wins. It's based on who won against who as well, right? Ah, shoot. I think that, like, what would happen here is if Cadence loses here, they're going to be second place. Alright, here we go. The pressure right there. And just Hitsuji is going ham on Cadence. Cadence not considering maybe going for reversal here. It is actually quite dangerous, as Oleander's reversal option, the 2-2D, isn't really the best reversal option. What a raw 60 round start. Works as an anti-air as well. Oh, that J2C. Unfortunately, the altitude was quite low, unable to bring out the J2C for the ground bounce. Another routing you can go for Oleander is if you're quite unsure, like especially against these characters like Arizona and even characters like Tianho, where they do have to close in the gap against you to pose a threat. If you want to build magic, you could try to send them away like after an air combo, like after a JC in the air. You send them away with the magic spark. Generally, you know, the C spark, that's the fastest one to come out. And you actually kick them away from you, and you can jump cancel that into a read. And potentially you're in the clear for 2 stocks of magic after that. But it looks like Cadence doesn't really need that much magic. It's just very comfortable challenging Hitsuji in this close range right now. Oh, that's a drop right there, but the continuation after the launcher goes for the reset. Let's go with the American resets. Alright, 4-6 into 6B. The Jive Arizona Classic 6A into 6B. And it works out. Hitsuji forgets that the 6B was a ground bounce. Maybe that was a hard knockdown setup. I might have misread that situation. And look at this. Hitsuji trying to go for these optimal damages. Oh, it ends with a super. It just walks up in 6A? Did you just walk up in anti-air? Unfortunately, he wasn't able to convert off of that. He could have gone for the kill, but it doesn't matter. Headbutt B is gonna do it.
My mama don't raise no fools. Arizona wins.
He just walked up in 6A. Alright, Hitsuji just one game away from taking this from Kittens. By the way, hello there, Pascalano. I see you right here and right there. On the Twitch chat, I assume you're a new player. As Kama says in the chat, everyone starts up new, and we're all gonna be learning here. So don't worry, take your time. And everyone just starts off, pretty new. Like all of us went through that greenhorn phase.
Like my
Oh!
says, put him up.
Here we go. Keaton's going for an Arizona themselves against Hitsuji. So we're seeing the Arizona mirror, and I am quite uncertain what Keaton's going for. Oh, what a block string by Hitsuji there. And stomp into a 2D. It's actually very good at catching people off guard. It's actually one of the pressure strings. Like, it's really hard to react to. You have to call it out in most cases. Because after that Stomp A, it could be cancelled to Stomp C. It could be faked out. Depending on the range, maybe that is an opportunity for Arizona to close in the gap. Or again, maybe just 2D. Or if you try to jump away from it, for some reason, maybe you get caught by a 4D instead. Although generally Stomp C will still catch you anyway. Oh, the read on that magic use. Oh, that's a dash and grab. Not enough to kill, but that Stomp will do it. By the way, if you noticed there earlier, that was a pretty good idea by Kittens. Going for the grab against Hitsuji after Hitsuji has been showing a lot of these magic uses on Wake Up as a reversal. So a lot of one of the most annoying things that a lot of players would find with Arizona is when Arizona has those socks of magic, she just has very good reversal options. She can go for a counter where if you try to hit her, she hits you back because she has armor, or maybe just goes for a magic headbutt where you just instantly get hit. Although, single armor and double armor, that's something to consider. So if you time your attacks well, you can actually cancel out the armor. But one of the best ways to deal with it is actually to just go for a grab. Like, see that counter? Even that JB is just gonna get cancelled. Like, everyone will just get cancelled if you do something weird on Twitter. But the thing is, one way to deal with that as well is to just dash in and grab, and you will be able to cancel out any of those whether be it counter or magic headbutt. And Hitsuji just goes for the grab to punish that block super to finish it off. Classy, classy, classy. And Hitsuji actually takes it. Alright, that is our final. What is this? We did it first to 3 for everyone, 6 matches. All of them are 3-0s. All of them are 3-0s. Alright. All of them are 3-0s. Now, I know some of the people here are kind of concerned, like, is it a 3-way tie? Because everyone's almost everyone's basically, tied because of the game counts they have, the set counts rather. So the thing is, though, one more thing that is considered as to whether your first place, second place is based on
head-to-head. One against who? Wait, hold on. Yeah, that is wait. Now, yeah, that is the problem. Because we don't have that win against just win like in most round robins, wherein normally it would be like Cadence once against Comma once against Arnav. That's usually the situation, and then they have a tie, but tie of their set counts. But what happened here is that Comma won against Hitsuji, Hitsuji won against Cadence, and Cadence won against Comma. It's actually a three-way tie. Yeah, it's perfectly tied. The Smash.gg actually cannot handle this, and they just made the places randomly in itself. But this is, on paper, a three-way tie. It is actually a three-way tie because it's a cycle. It's basically rock, paper, scissors. Suddenly we're going for double elimination. Let's go. But there's 3 of you. There's 3 of you. How do we make this a sudden death? You know what? First to one. First. How do you settle this? I've never seen this scenario before. How do you settle this? There's 3 of you. Are we going to first to 3 against each other? That's gonna take a while again. It's just a repeat. Yes, this is a peculiar situation. Just once. That's exactly what we did. It's a first to 3 against each other just once. That's a round robin, Hitsuji. That's a round robin, Hitsuji. You're just saying, let's do a round robin again, but let's keep Arnav out of the picture. Rude. How do we settle this? We could, just make everyone first place except Arnav. This is actually a rare situation to have. So, we could do a sudden death. Okay. Sudden double elimination might fix it. Okay, alright. We're setting a double elimination. I have the bracket seated. I know which player goes to. So, yes, there's only 3 of you. But instead of going a grand final, we're doing, everything's a first to 2. No, actually, sudden death, a double elimination. It's just a first to 1. Actually, first to 1 I think is fair. First to 1 is fair, but it's double elim. So what happens here is Cadence versus Comma. It's a first to 1. Whoever wins against them will fight Hitsuji. And then whoever loses and will be fighting in the losers. The first to 1 again. Wait, hold on. Tally up the point differential against man. Pull out a coin! No, we can't! No! That's a lame way to decide. And yeah, you're straight to point 4. Yeah, because 1, 2, and 3, the issue is it's a cycle. Yeah, we check the record against who tied against each other, and what happens here is it's a cycle. Like Hitsuji beat Cadence, Cadence beat Comma, Comma beat Hitsuji. So we can't say that one, because if what happened, let's imagine there are other players. If what happened is you have a 3-way tie with the score, but what happened if it Hitsuji won against Cadence, Cadence won against Comma, and Comma didn't win against any of these 2 players, then it's clear cut that Hitsuji would be first, Cadence would be second, and Comma would be third. We settled this in a game of codenames. Look, it's early.
the tournament is only gone for an hour, so I suggest we do a sudden death double elimination first to one, and we do this based on the seeding, wherein Hitsuji is higher seed here because he's top 8 of Fauna. So what happens is Cadence versus Kama first to one, then Hitsuji versus Cadence, Hitsuji versus Cadence, or Hitsuji versus Kama, whoever wins between Cadence and Kama first to one. Then whoever loses to that will fight in the losers, and then fight again. Last one. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right. Yeah, we're doing it. Sudden death. Okay. All right. Yeah, just go. Yes, let's go. Comma. On. First to one. Yeah, it's a first to one. Sudden death. Double elimination. And I'm just gonna base it from there. Calling it sudden death because that sounds cool. That sounds so cringe. But it is a sudden death, by definition. Okay. Just old-fashioned double elim, but a first to one, so that it's, faster, because we're basically running another tournament if we do a first to two.
Let us break the ice.
Round one.
Yeah, it's fine, Kat. Thank you very much for the help here. But yeah, I'll just pick it up from here. I do have some expectations on how this is gonna turn out, but please make it easy, guys. Please make it easy for us. Alright, I'll let the fight roll out for now. Won't be commentating for it for a bit because I'll set up a bracket so that people who are still not on the same page understand what I mean by first to one. I'm sorry, I'm handling things on the background. I'm not actually able to see the fight right now, but I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I'm hearing what's happening though, so no worries. Okay, it looks like Kittens is on the road to closing this one up. And there you go. So Kama will be sent to the losers bracket for this one. And now we move on to Kittens versus Hitsuji. Okay, Ki versus Suj. Are we actually going to be seeing the true Paprika here? Okay, so just briefly, I'm just gonna show everyone what I meant by that. Just briefly. Don't worry, we'll move to the game quickly. This is what I meant. So it's double elim just first to one, and just immediately.
Coming at you.
And we're not going to worry about reset anymore. We're just gonna ignore that. It just ends here. Okay. So yes, whoever loses between Hitsuji and Kittens will be fighting Common the losers to have the second chance again. There you go. I'm sorry, now you're missing the fight out. But ooh, oops, I forgot to change the name. This is really unprecedented, so I'm not prepared for this. But Tsuji actually still sticking to Arizona, and Cadence now dishing out the paprika. Like, Tsuji was getting a bit something out of there, but oh, mashes 5 Aeon wake up, even after a hard knockdown. Oh, there you go, the 2B punish.
Probably Cadence is trying to go for a flop right there, and Hitsuji just going for a lot of lows, preventing any of these shenanigans, but unfortunately gets mashed out by Cadence, and actually that's probably going to be a kill.
KO. Round 2.
And Cadence wants this. Goes to grab. Hard knockdown, JB meaty, but Cadence is very prepared for that stance block that's just right on time. Oh, and there you go, the TK cancel into super. No level 2, however, just going for the hard knockdown. Misses the opportunity to capitalize on that hard knockdown. Now Cadence is the one pushed into the corner. Ooh, just goes for the magic headbutt, because why not? Probably betting on canceling into super in case Cadence tried to, was able to block and try to punish, but that card C was perfectly spaced. But you know, Suji's like, heckin', I'm going for it again. Magic headbutt the second time, and now he's going for the kill. Just unfortunately drops it, but that 2A meaty is going to do it just fine.
Mess with the cow, you get the horns.
And now, match point, both players have pretty good meter though. Like, could be very deadly for both players. After that whip, 2C just goes for the super for the punish. Level 2, converting that hard knockdown. Goes for the schmicks. Tries to go for the grab the magic headbutt yet again. This is the third time in a row that Cadence has gotten hit by that. I mean, not in a row, but within this first one quite quickly. Oh, and looks like Cadence is not ready for this. Level 1. Oh, tries to go, probably try to go for magic dash right there. That 5D whip was too sussy. And now Cadence is gonna go for the level 2. What is, oh, just immediately bursts it. I believe he could get more mileage out of it by just, you know, letting that one sit. Tries to go for the magic headbutt, maybe hoping for some chip out. Cross canter, and just goes for the super to actually kill.
Mama don't raise no fools.
Arizona
And
wins.
Hitsuji will be the one advancing to the final. Cadence and Kama will have a run back to decide who will be facing Hitsuji in the final. And Kama again. Hitsuji the new cow? Yes, and he's a cool guy too, it seems. That's what Nightbot says. Alright, do we really need that overlay anymore? Because the score is nonsense, I guess. So yeah, I'm just taking off the score. It doesn't really have a purpose. Oh, and there you go. Kama is in shadow mode. I mean, it's not the shadow palette per se, but you know, a dark colored palette. Still kind of, let's see. Wait, is it actually the shadow palette? I'm actually uncertain now. No, I don't think it's a shadow palette. I believe the shadow palette looks different. Just make the chat pass by. You know what? Brilliant idea. After all, this part of the battle is already unconventional. This part of the tournament is unconventional because a three-way high that cannot be determined by just the head counts and the scoring. I mean, the scoring, of course, it's a tie, but by the head count and whom they face off. Usually, that's how you decide like who wins in the round robin, because you do not want to spend more time doing more fights in a round robin, because generally there's already a lot of fights in itself. But in this particular case, because it was a rock paper scissors type of cycle, there's just no way to determine it. But it looks like Kittens is going to get their way back.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, Cadence wants that. Cadence wants to face Hitsuji yet again. Oh, block that Shatter Sea. Cadence is very prepared for these now. Not falling for these Shatter Seas. Not getting hit by that. Flop. Unfortunately, unable to cancel that into super, but catches the tech roll yet again. Kama still getting caught in his tech rolls, and unfortunately, that is the end for Kama. So Kama is confirmed to be 3rd place. Now it's a fight between Kittens and Hitsuji. Yes, it's now up. It's now back to Kittens and Hitsuji. Now, yes, it is a double elim, so it could reset, I guess. Wait, I said earlier to ignore that other part. I forgot that was for the reset in case. I kind of got it mixed up. But no worries. If Cadence wins this game first, it resets the bracket and Hitsuji sent to the loser, so they're fighting yet again. But if Suji just wins this one, no need to worry. Immediately buckle up and, win the tourney. So actually, to make that clear, let me add an indicator to make it clear.
Coming at you.
Round 1. Fight.
Suji will win. That is a threat. What? Oh, and there you go. Suji still adamant using Arizona. Well, he has proven himself by just winning earlier against Cadence. But, Cadence might have adapted, but that counter will come out and catch Cadence off guard. Oh, and that after that JC2B, it's not going to be push blocked pretty well. Oh, I like the pressure reset there. Slump A and then just going for 2A. Oh, missed the meaty. Was able to block afterwards, but try to do something there. And caught off guard. I'm not sure which one hit. I think the apple was the one that hit. Oh, unfortunately, Hitsuji crossed himself up by jumping forward. That Telesi actually causes up if you're moving forward as it's dropping. Cadence takes that round.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, just one stock magic, but goes for that setup. Hard knockdown. Oh, the 6B resets it. Hard knockdown yet again, but wasn't able to really do anything on Oki there. And Cadence smashes up on wake up. Right call. Catches Suji off guard. 6A. Taking the strings, but that 6B just whips purely because of Cadence's push box. And just gets completely punished right there. 6A into super. Hard knockdown into the corner. Watch this mix. Oh no, dashing forward, that was the mix, and gets that super punished. Oh, Cadence might be able to go for a kill here. Cancels into level 2. Will the explosion? Oh no, not quite. Oh, and quite unfortunate. Actually, pushes Suji away from the corner. Oh! Suji might actually be able to take this round! And robs Cadence off of that. And Suji's in a pretty good position here. Cadence way behind the meter economy. CG has those 3 bars of meter, 3 fat bars of meter. Cadence has to play carefully, and as I say that, goes for a flop immediately. But thankfully, Hitsuji was not able to punish that. This might be Cadence approach. Suji just goes for the super, because why not Telesi punish? That is how you try to chase it. And actually, Cadence might actually be able to take this, despite being behind a meter. Oh, and unfortunately, because of the positioning, that JA won't be able to punish that cart B. Completely whiffs. Oh, and that tech roll gets red, but no conversion. But that second teacher is gonna pull Hitsuji in. And now, both
Rika wins.
at L. So here we go, lads and lasses, I guess. One more between these two to determine the winner. long range t-shirts. As a t-shirt is very good at pulling in your opponents. Puts them into you.
Round 1. Fight!
Hitsuji adamant and playing Arizona and maybe quite flustered right now. Using the default palette, one thing that Suji always hates to see. Ivy's that. Oh, and this time tries to deal with that t-shirt. Eats the broccoli, just takes a meter as much as possible. What a punish on that whiff 2B. Just goes for the headbutt B. Oh, mashes against that card A. Oh, I beat the card B. Well, that was not really completely necessary. Exhibits Suji's reaction. And Suji's just trying to go for hard knockdowns here. Goes for these setups 2B into 6B. And that actually hurts so much, it kills.
Mess with the cow, you get the horns.
Round 2. Fight!
Alright, match point for Hitsuji, but he gets caught with a 5B. No conversion off of Cadence. Probably didn't have a charge to go for a card A or a card C right there. Or any kind of card for that matter. Oh, misses the flop. Push blocks, and wow, Hitsuji, good understanding of that situation. Just goes for the stomp, but gets caught by that flop. And as well as that low, Suji is in for a treat right here. Oh, but Keaton just drops the flop yet again, but it's no problem. Has a huge life lead and will actually be able to kill Hitsuji right here, putting themselves both at match point. Now both of them have the meter to pose as much threats as they want. It's now a matter of who gets the hit and who converts off of which. And like that, oh, I beats that. And now goes for the punish. Level 2, going in for it early to try to get as much as possible, but misses the 5C timing, unfortunately. Yes, 5D into 5C is can actually be a real string, but it requires a link. So it is actually pretty hard to pull off.
Just you wait. Y'all in for a
Oh, with a brave trap punish, but you know, since Fuji didn't have meter for a level 2, doesn't really get much out of that. On the other hand, Cadence might be able to get much out of this, but drops it with not 60 not connecting. Maybe could have just gone for the super quite immediately. Suji is ready for that, but not able to confirm. That stomp just whiffs, and now Suji's in trouble again. Tries to go for the super, but Cadence going for the punish. Goes for the 5A punish, however, so might not be enough here. Super. Goes for the level 2. Oh no! It's the same situation as earlier, but this time no basket burst. And Suji's just spacing it out, but he tricks himself into the basket burst. And with that, Hitsuji loses to Cadence. The basket catches Hitsuji, the player known very well for using those baskets in a nasty, nasty manner. He fits in the basket. Heckin'. Alright, and that concludes the tournament. So let me try to make some adjustment on the Smash.gg so that it shows that Cadence is the one who triumphed here. How do I do that actually? Hold on. I can do that by just giving him an additional win. Or maybe I can edit the settings. Hold on. Hold on. I'm just trying to make adjustments so that the Smash.gg will show this kind of result that we want. So let's see here. Let me reset that bracket. I'm sorry for I had to reset the bracket just because I wasn't able to edit any anymore for some reason. Okay, but you know what? I'll just do this afterward. I do not want to waste everyone's time sitting with me sitting down and trying to edit the smash.gg. I'll edit it so that it shows the proper placings that we need. And unfortunately I won't be able to show it on stream, the placings like I normally do. But you know, to announce the placings for tonight's tournament, congratulations Kittens for being the champion of this Fauna Weekly. And Cadence has fought hard to try to grab that first place, even after that sudden death. But Hitsuji not falling behind, our second place, showing some very good Arizona stuff tonight. Kama showing how much he's developed as a Velvet player, sitting on third place. And Arnab, our budding beginner, also trying to show how he's trying to pick up some things through these fights and slowly building up from that. And, you know, celebrate those small victories of being actually able to pull off the things that you never pulled off before. So, really appreciate all the players tonight. So, again, congratulations to Cadence, first place, Suji second, Kama third, Arnab fourth. So, lovely to have you all. So, again, I'll be updating the Smash.gg so that it reflects the, you know, the scoring that I mentioned earlier and the placings. But it's time for some announcements. And so, first announcement we're going to be making is actually regarding these weeklies that we've been having. Now, quite frankly, you know, I think everyone, including our audience and our participants, have noticed that the number of participants and the weeklies as of late have been plummeting, and you know, we're not having pretty good attendance. So you know, we cannot really pinpoint as to what is the main factor to that. People can be just busy, people can just not be interested per se, and you know, just maybe it's constantly happening, but it's a too much of a weekly event, and maybe there's also some burnout. So we've decided to switch up the weekly formats, and we're gonna be making the Fauna tournaments, the scheduled tournaments, into a bi-weekly tournament. So although we're going to still have our event next Wednesday, so on September 8th we are still going to be having our tournament at the same time as usual, but we're changing the name temporarily to Fauna Wednesdays because calling it Fauna Weeklies probably isn't appropriate anymore. But at the same time, you might think like, well, not every Wednesday. So its complete name is Fauna Wednesdays TFH Asia Bi-Weekly Tournament. So that's what we're going to do from now on. So it's just going to be a bi-weekly. But in conjunction to that, to encourage our player base to, you know, the community, the Fauna, to participate in this tournament more, is we feel like there is a lack of incentive. We need you to join a Fauna Week. I want to join, but you know, I can't join if I'm hosting it. But let's not worry about those matters. So we're trying to put in an incentive into participating in this tournaments. Like, sure, experience is one thing, but if it's just happening every week, there's not much into it. So we're also going to be announcing the power ranking. Now, we had this before in the previous season. The Fauna had this power ranking, which ranked the players of the Fauna based on their performances in the tournaments and all that. And we're going to be re-implementing that. We are in a new season, since after all, the final showdown had just finished. And you know, it's September, a new month. Heck yeah, it's a new start for the Fauna. So everything's fresh there. Although you might see that the top 10 players right there have their elo a little bit dipped up. But please thank Banana Soup for preparing this power ranking system. I bet without Banana Soup, we would not be having this concept for the Fauna. But this power ranking system will be applied to the major tournaments, and also including the Fauna Wednesdays that we're going to be implementing. So basically, the seeding that we're going to be doing from now on will be primarily based on this elo system. And how do I put this? Of course, the way to build up this elo is for you to keep participating the events. So if you want to get a higher seed for the tournament, you will want to keep participating in the tournaments to just keep playing, basically. The thing is, this will also be reflecting how we seed players for the other major tournaments, such as the next season of the warm-up series. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are waiting for the next season of the Fauna Week. Not the Fauna Week, the warm-up series. So keep in mind how you will be seeded for these kinds of tournaments will be based on this power ranking. So for you to get a higher seed and, you know, have less issues or worries on fighting more games because of how the seeding works, join the tournaments. This is how we think we can incentivize you guys for participating these Fauna Wednesdays. So again, to summarize this change, it'll be changed to Fauna Wednesdays, which is going to be bi-weekly now. It's not going to be every week. However, this change will start next week. So next week, we still have a tournament. And that is the start of the Fauna Wednesdays. And we're starting it from number 1 so that everyone knows that we're starting afresh. And this is where the power ranking system will be implemented. So that's the first announcement in place. Don't worry, I'll be posting that as an announcement on the Discord server as well. So for you guys who are not part of the Discord server of the Fauna, hop on right there. I put it on, the link is right there in the chat. But I believe most of you are already in there. Alright, and if you have questions about these, please do not hesitate to ask. And again, the best place to ask is there on the Discord. Alright, next up, I guess some of you guys would already know, we have the Fauna Raid. And we already made this announcement last Wednesday in the previous Fauna Weekly, in which this is the second iteration of the Fauna Raid, wherein there's one player and one selected player, and everyone who wants to join this event can just hop on right in and try to beat this player. Now, we've already explained how this system works, but to briefly go on about it again, we're just going to make a makeshift queue, and each player just lines up and tries to fight the supposed boss. So last time it was Tailnick, and it's basically a Fauna member versus the world, because this is not region locked. So anyone who wants to join, hop on right in for this Fauna Raid. That is on September 4th at 4 p.m. Korean time. That's GMT plus 9. That's a Saturday. That's a Saturday. Why does it say Sunday there? I'm sorry, I might have mistyped it. But that is a Saturday. And we decided who the boss would be based on the poll, and for this one, it'd be Gaijin. So good luck to Gaijin, and good luck to you guys. I'm Gaijin. What am I saying? So yeah, I'll be the one who you guys will be fighting on this Saturday. So oh yeah, one more change is we mentioned there's no prizes for it. However, we do have a sponsor for this one, and actually, for select players who do get a game off of the boss, will actually get a prize of a free game. And we gotta thank one of our member in the Fauna, then how, for this one. Now we'll be explaining more details about the prizes later on, as we're still arranging that. However, we pretty much have prizes for this. So hey, make sure you guys hop on and join the Fauna Raid for a chance to win a free game. Again, more details to come soon. So keep an eye on the Discord for that. So yeah, that is an incentive to participate. Okay, and the other announcements are, I'll just go on them briefly because there's still quite some time before these events pop on, because these two events are the soonest to come, the Fauna Wednesday and the Fauna Raid. But I do also want to talk about the Lambs will make its return. This is the beginners to intermediate tournament. And, basically, this tournament is limited to certain skill level. So no, not Race Shadow Legends. Come on, Arnab. The this is limited to a certain skill level, so we do have a ban list. This is what we feel could be safer or a more comfortable competitive scene where certain players will be able to compete each other. So if you want more details on this, the link is right there, and you should be able to see it on the upcoming events. Still can't he but read the thing as Fauna Radio. the Fauna Raid. Okay, understandable. So yeah, the Lambs number 6 will be on September 25th. That is a Saturday, also at 4 p.m. GMT plus 9. That is Korean time. You can go ahead and register now, but it's still some time from now. But the earlier you register, the better. And we do want to also encourage people to register ahead of time, even though if you're not sure, you might have some things to do on that particular day, because it's not hard to manage the attendees or the participants. It's pretty easy to remove players off of the list if they so happen are unable to attend. So just let us know, like, you register ahead of time, and then if something urgent comes up, let us know that you won't be able to attend, and we can just remove you off of the tournament participants list, and that's no problemo. So please, guys, register ahead of time. All right, that is regarding the Lambs. And lastly, the Prairie versus Rain will make its comeback, the crew battle. That is coming in October, so it's still some time. But this is basically a team versus team, and this will be its third iteration. That will be happening on October 9th. And yes, it's basically team versus team. So you actually have to do some mega brains and thinking of like who you should be pitting against who. You're basically playing matchups against each other as a team. So take note on how you be doing this. If you want more details, there's a link to the smash.gg. Have to register to participate that, but the registration will open on September 25th, as we do not want to open this too soon. People will forget it since over a month before it comes. But just to let you know, this is an upcoming event that we have. All right, and that is it for the announcements. So primarily keep an eye for the Fauna Wednesdays because and the Fauna Raid, because these two events are the ones that are coming soon. And again, I'll make an announcement on that again on the Discord for everyone to keep track on. Again, keep an eye on the list on the upcoming events channel that has been added in the announcement section on the Discord. That is an easier way for you to keep track of what's happening in the Fauna. So anyway, again, thank you everyone who came by and joined the tournament tonight. Those of you who watched, and thank you, Kat, for helping me with the bracketing as well, the scoring and all that. And yeah, just thank you everyone for joining us, and I'm hoping that everyone is excited for the events that we have coming for the Fauna. I'm hoping to see you guys, well, hopefully next time. All right, have a good night, y'all.